You're surrounded by your siblings, all wiggling and chirping as loudly as they can. Why? Because they're hungry. And so are you. Get ready, because your journey as a baby crow, or chick, is about to begin. It's going to be wild, funny, a little messy, and full of surprises. Let's dive in. When you first hatch, you're covered in soft fluff and tiny feathers that make you look like a fluffy ball of lint. You're adorable, but you're also helpless. Luckily, your parents are there to take care of you. They're super busy flying around to find food for their noisy little family. Life in the nest isn't all cozy and cuddly. Oh no, it's a battle zone. Every time your parents bring food, you and your siblings scramble to get the biggest bites. You're all chirping as loudly as you can because the loudest chick usually gets fed first. But watch out! Your brothers and sisters have sharp little beaks and claws, and they're not afraid to use them. It's like a wrestling match, but with feathers. Sometimes you win the battle and gobble up the food. Other times, you're the one getting shoved aside. Fast forward a few weeks, and you're starting to look less like a fluffy chick and more like a sleek young crow. Your shiny black feathers are growing in, and you're getting ready for a big milestone, learning to fly. You flap as hard as you can. For a moment, it feels like you're flying, but then, splat! You hit the ground. Ouch! Don't worry, every crow falls the first few times. You keep trying, flapping and hopping until finally, you lift off the ground and land on a branch. Now that you can fly, it's time to learn another important skill, finding food. At first, your parents still help out, but they're starting to expect you to figure things out on your own. Finding food as a crow is like going on a treasure hunt. By the time you're about a year old, you're ready to leave your parents' nest and find your own place to live. It's exciting, but also a little scary. You fly over the city, looking for a quiet spot to call home. Maybe a tall tree in a park? Or a cozy corner on a rooftop? Unfortunately, a lot of good spots are already taken by other crows. And crows are very protective of their territory. If you accidentally land in someone else's spot, you might get chased away with loud squawks and pecks. After a lot of searching, you finally find a little patch of tree that's just right. Crows are super smart and social, but joining a group isn't always easy. Sometimes, other crows welcome you, and you all hang out together, sharing tips and tricks about the best food spots. Other times, groups can be a little exclusive. If they don't want you around, they'll make it clear. Even if you're flying solo, you keep learning. You figure out which humans are most likely to drop tasty snacks and which days are best for raiding dumpsters. Being clever is your secret weapon. The first moment of life is not a triumphant entrance, but a cold and abrupt awakening. The shell that once protected you from the harshness of the world is now just another obstacle to overcome. Chipping away with your tiny, underdeveloped beak, you struggle for hours, or even days, to break free. When you finally emerge, your senses are bombarded by the damp chill of the world outside. There's no time to revel in the achievement of being born. Your siblings are hatching around you, each as disoriented and wobbly as you are. The nest, which once seemed like a safe haven, now feels crowded and chaotic. Your mother, though a figure of authority, seems less nurturing than you'd imagined. She busies herself, barely acknowledging your existence beyond a cursory nudge. The message is clear: survival is your responsibility now. Your first challenge comes almost immediately: learning to walk. Your legs, thin and awkwardly proportioned, seem incapable of carrying you. They splay out beneath you, making every step a gamble. But you don't have the luxury of resting or giving up. Instinct drives you forward, pushing you to follow your mother and siblings as they stumble toward the water. Reaching the water feels like an insurmountable task. The ground is uneven, the grass is tall, and every step is an exercise in determination. When you finally reach the edge, you're met with a new and terrifying obstacle, the water. It stretches out before you, vast and cold. The first plunge is a shock. The cold bites into your downy feathers, and for a moment, you panic, flailing as the water threatens to swallow you. But instinct kicks in once again, and your legs begin to paddle. The motion feels unnatural at first, but soon you find a rhythm. You're swimming. But there's no time to celebrate this milestone. Beneath the surface lies a world of danger. Predatory fish lurk in the depths, and above, the sky is patrolled by hawks and other birds of prey. Your mother, focused on finding food, offers little protection. Hunger drives you to forage, but the offerings are far from appetizing. You scoop up algae, mud, and the occasional insect, all of which leave a slimy residue in your mouth. The competition for food is fierce. Your siblings, once allies in the nest, become rivals. They snatch at anything you find, sparking fights over scraps that are barely worth the effort. Each meal is a battle, and the stakes are high. Without enough food, your growth will falter, leaving you even more vulnerable to the predators that stalk your every move. Life is a constant game of survival. The world is full of creatures that see you as little more than a convenient snack. Hawks circle overhead, their sharp eyes scanning for any sign of weakness. Turtles lurk below the water's surface, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. On land, foxes and raccoons prowl the edges of the pond, ready to pounce on any duckling that strays too far from the group. Close calls are frequent. A sudden shadow sends your heart racing, and every rustling bush feels like a potential death sentence. You learn to stay alert, your senses constantly on high alert. But even vigilance isn't always enough. The world is merciless, and many of your siblings don't survive these early days. As weeks pass, your fluffy yellow down begins to give way to feathers. The transformation is anything but graceful. Your once cute appearance becomes scruffy and uneven, earning you the disdain of older ducks and the mockery of your peers. Sibling rivalries intensify during this awkward phase. The fights over food become more aggressive. Space on the pond becomes a contentious issue. Geese, larger and more aggressive, invade your territory, stealing food and bullying you out of the best spots. The pond, once a place of refuge, now feels like a battleground. Flight is the next great challenge. Watching older ducks take to the skies, you feel a mix of awe and intimidation. Your first attempts are disastrous. You leap into the air, flapping your wings with all your might, only to crash back to the ground. Each failure is painful, both physically and emotionally. Welcome to the world of eagles. Hey, kids! Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live as an eagle? Let me take you on an exciting journey through the life of one of the coolest birds in the world. Buckle up, because this story has everything: adventure, challenges, bravery, and even some funny moments. A rocky beginning. Our story begins high up on a rocky cliff, where a mother eagle has built her nest. Inside the nest is a small, round egg. For 45 long days, the egg stays warm, snuggled under the mother eagle. Then, one day, crack! Out comes a tiny, fluffy baby eagle. That's you. But wait, life isn't all sunshine and rainbows right away. When you hatch, your parents are too busy arguing about whose turn it is to fetch food. So, there you are, a ball of fluff with big, hungry eyes. Lucky for you, your dad swoops in with some food: soft, squishy, pre-chewed meat. Sibling rivalry. Guess what? You're not the only baby in the nest. Your sibling hatches just a little while after you. At first, it's fun having company. But soon, you both realize there's only so much food to go around. That's when the wrestling matches begin. Every meal turns into a mini battle. Your parents? Oh, they're just watching from the side like it's their favorite TV show. Sometimes you win, and sometimes your sibling does. It's tough, but these little fights make you stronger and teach you important survival skills. Growing up fast in just a month, you've already grown so much. Your fluffy baby feathers are replaced by sleek, dark ones. You're starting to look like a real eagle now. But there's still one big challenge ahead: learning to fly. Your parents stand nearby as you waddle to the edge of the nest. Below, the ground looks so far away. Your heart races. Will you soar like a superhero or fall like a rock? There's only one way to find out. You spread your wings, take a deep breath, and leap. At first, it feels like you're falling, but soon your wings catch the wind. You're flying. Well, sort of. After a few wobbly tries, and maybe a crash landing or two, you start to get the hang of it. Flying feels amazing, like you're on top of the world. Becoming a hunter. Now that you can fly, it's time to learn how to hunt. Your parents are expert hunters, and you watch them closely. They perch high up, scanning the ground below with their incredible eyesight. Did you know an eagle's vision is so sharp it can spot a rabbit from a kilometer away? It's like having super binoculars built into your eyes. One day, your dad spots a rabbit. He dives down at lightning speed, folding his wings to make himself as sleek as an arrow. In seconds, he catches the rabbit and brings it back to the nest. Now it's your turn. You spot a rabbit, just like your dad showed you. You dive, but oops. You miss and land in a bush. Don't worry, hunting takes practice. Each day, you get a little better until, finally, you catch your first meal. Time to leave the nest. By now, you're almost fully grown. Your parents have done a great job teaching you, but they're starting to hint that it's time for you to move out. At 14 months old, you take one last look at your nest and spread your wings to explore the world. Finding your own place to live isn't easy. All the best spots are already taken by other eagles. Sometimes they chase you away, and you have to keep searching. But eventually, you find a good spot with plenty of food and decide to make it your new home. Soaring high. Life as a young eagle is full of adventure. You spend your days soaring high above the savannah, feeling the wind beneath your wings. Riding thermals, warm air currents, helps you climb higher and higher without even flapping your wings. From up here, the world below looks like a giant puzzle. You can see forests, rivers, and tiny animals moving around. Every day is a new chance to hunt, explore, and enjoy the freedom of the skies. But being an eagle isn't always easy.